Hi everyone, I'm Alison. Today we're continuing with fundamental chemistry for biology. We'll be looking at ions and ionic bonds. We'll have a look at which elements are able to form ionic bonds, how ions are formed, and how they're able to bind together to form bonds. So over here I have the periodic table. And although many elements are able to become ions and form ionic bonds, especially metals, today we'll be focusing on the first two groups of the periodic table, and then groups 16 and 17 over here. The reason why these two groups are really good at forming ions and ionic bonds is because of their electron configuration. We'll be looking at sodium and chlorine as an example. So over here, I've already drawn their electron configuration over here and the outermost shell over here. So sodium has 11 protons and 11 electrons. As we've seen in previous videos, the number of protons and the number of electrons are always equal for atoms. Chlorine has 17 protons and 17 electrons. And as you can see, in their outermost shell, sodium has only one electron present, while chlorine has 7 electrons. And as we seen in the last video, atoms are the most content when their outer shell is fully filled and every single orbital has 2 electron presents. Sodium, in its outer shell, has only 1 electron, and it's easier for sodium to lose this electron rather than trying to fill all these other orbitals with electrons. While chlorine is only missing a single electron, so it would be much easier for chlorine to gain an electron rather than having to lose all these electrons. And instead of doing what we've seen in the last video with covalent bonds, where the atoms have been sharing a pair of electrons, in this case, sodium decides to donate its electron to chlorine, and by doing so, the number of protons will stay the same for both sodium and chlorine. But now sodium has lost an electron, fully lost it, is not sharing it with chlorine. It has donated it. So now it has 10 electrons, while chlorine has gained an electron and it has now 18 electrons. Now, in our previous videos, I mentioned that atoms don't have a charge because the number of protons equals the number of electrons. But in this case now, sodium has more protons than electrons. Therefore, its charge has now become a +1. And for chlorine, it has less protons than electrons. And therefore, its overall charge is -1. And it's this difference in charge that allows them to come together and form an ionic bond. Ionic bonding is electrostatic attraction between oppositely charged ions. These types of bonds are not as strong as covalent bonds that we've seen in the previous video, And ions can um, be on their own, just as iron, without forming ionic bonds, as we'll be seeing in future videos, especially when it comes to um, signaling and other cellular activities. I hope you found this helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.